What if one of the most common ingredients in the modern food supply was quietly harming your health? Or what if one of the internet's biggest nutrition villains, the one you're told to avoid at all costs, has been misunderstood all along? We're talking about seed oils. You've definitely heard the claims. They're scrolling past you on social media every day. They're toxic, they cause chronic inflammation, they're the hidden driver behind the obesity epidemic. Never ever cook with them. The warnings are loud, and they are confident. But what does the science actually say when you turn down the volume on the headlines and look at the data? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most polarizing topics in modern nutrition. We're going to separate the fear from the facts to uncover what really happens inside your body when you consume seed oils. First, let's establish what we're even talking about. The term seed oils refers to vegetable oils that have been extracted from the seeds of a plant. The most common ones you'll find on a grocery store shelf are canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower, corn, cottonseed, and grapeseed oil. These oils became incredibly popular over the last century for a few simple reasons. They're inexpensive to produce, they're highly versatile for cooking and manufacturing, and they're very shelf-stable. Because of this, they are everywhere. They're used to fry foods in most restaurants, they form the base of countless salad dressings and mayonnaises, they're a key ingredient in packaged snacks from chips to cookies, they're in your pantry, my pantry, and the kitchens of millions. But their popularity is matched only by their controversy. And that controversy really boils down to one specific type of fat they contain in high amounts. It's time to meet omega-6. Most seed oils are very rich in a polyunsaturated fatty acid called linoleic acid, which is a type of omega-6 fat. Now, the first thing to know about omega-6 is that it is an essential fatty acid. That word essential has a specific scientific meaning. It means your body cannot make it from scratch. You have to get it from the food you eat for your body to function properly. And it does critical work. Omega-6 fats help build the membranes of every single cell in your body. They support your immune system, help maintain the health of your skin, and are vital for normal physiology. So if they're essential, where does the controversy come from? It started with a plausible theory. Scientists observed that in the body, linoleic acid can be converted into another fatty acid called arachidonic acid. This molecule, in turn, can be used to create signaling molecules that, under certain conditions, can be pro-inflammatory. So the hypothesis was born. If we eat too much omega-6, we might be flooding our bodies with the raw materials for inflammation. This idea was bolstered by the observation that modern Western diets have a much higher ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats than our ancestors likely did. It all seemed to make perfect sense. However, the human body is rarely that simple. And when researchers put this theory to the test in actual human studies, a much more nuanced picture began to emerge. This brings us to the single biggest claim you'll see online, that seed oils cause inflammation. It's the cornerstone of the anti-seed oil argument. But when we look at the highest quality evidence, like large reviews of randomized controlled trials in humans, the data tells a different story. These comprehensive analyses have generally not found that a higher intake of linoleic acid from seed oils increases the markers of inflammation in people's blood. In fact, some of the strongest evidence we have suggests the opposite. Many studies have found that when people replace saturated fats, like those in butter and red meat, with polyunsaturated fats from vegetable oils, their cardiovascular risk factors, including some inflammatory markers, actually improve. Does this mean you should start chugging canola oil as a superfood? Absolutely not. But it does mean the simple, clean-cut narrative of seed oils equal inflammation isn't strongly supported by the bulk of the current scientific evidence. The science, as it so often is more complicated. And here's where things get really interesting. The true problem with seed oils may have less to do with the oil itself and more to do with the company they keep. Think about where we find the highest concentrations of seed oils in our diet. French fries, fast food burgers, packaged cookies, crackers, and cakes, frozen pizzas, and other highly processed meals. Seed oils are a hallmark ingredient of the ultra-processed food industry. So when people blame seed oils for poor health, are they correctly identifying the culprit? Or are they observing the effects of an entire dietary pattern? It's like blaming the butter for the negative health effects of a diet consisting only of croissants and pastries. The butter is part of the picture, but it's not the whole picture. Someone consuming large amounts of seed oils is very often also consuming high amounts of refined carbohydrates, added sugars, excess sodium, and a surplus of calories, all while consuming fewer fruits, vegetables, and fiber. This makes it incredibly difficult to scientifically isolate the oil as the primary villain. It's a classic case of correlation being confused with causation. Let's zoom in further, right down to the cellular level. When you eat fats, they literally become a part of you. The polyunsaturated fats from seed oils are incorporated into your cell membranes. These membranes aren't just static walls, they're dynamic, fluid structures that control what gets in and out of a cell and how cells communicate. Linoleic acid is crucial for maintaining this membrane flexibility and function. But there's a catch. Chemically, polyunsaturated fats, with their unique structure, are more vulnerable to damage from heat and oxygen than saturated fats are. This process is called oxidation. When an oil is heated to very high temperatures or repeatedly reheated, think of the deep fryer at a fast food restaurant, it can create unwanted oxidation byproducts. These compounds, like aldehydes, can be harmful to our cells. This means that how an oil is used might matter just as much as what the oil is. A drizzle of sunflower oil on a fresh salad is a world away from oil that's been used to fry onion rings for 8 hours straight. This brings us to heart health, which has been at the center of the dietary fat debate for decades. For years, major health organizations around the world have recommended replacing some of the saturated fat in our diets with polyunsaturated fats. Why? Because a large body of evidence shows that this substitution can help lower LDL cholesterol. LDL, often called the bad cholesterol, is one of the strongest, most well-established risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Now, lowering your LDL doesn't make you immune to heart disease, but it remains one of the most powerful levers we can pull to modify our risk. The evidence here consistently favors substitution, not elimination. So after all this, what's the verdict? Should you banish every drop of seed oil from your kitchen? The answer isn't that extreme. You probably don't need to live in fear of the canola oil in your pantry or the soybean oil in your favorite salad dressing. But at the same time, a diet dominated by heavily processed foods that rely on these oils is not a path to good health. The most sensible approach is to zoom out. Instead of obsessing over a single ingredient, focus on your overall dietary pattern. Build a diet based on whole foods. Eat more fruits and vegetables, more beans and lentils, more nuts and whole seeds. Use a variety of fats and oils in your own cooking, and be mindful of your cooking methods. Try not to repeatedly reheat oils at high temperatures. Health isn't built on the avoidance of one single ingredient. It's built on thousands of small, positive decisions repeated over months and years. So, are seed oils dangerous? The current body of scientific evidence suggests the answer is far more nuanced than a simple yes or no. These oils contain essential fats your body needs to function. They do not appear to be the universal driver of inflammation that social media claims. Their ultimate effect on your health depends entirely on context, the quantity you eat, how they're processed, what foods they are replacing, and the overall quality of your diet. The real danger may not be the bottle of vegetable oil itself, but the ultra-processed dietary pattern it so often represents. Nutrition science rarely offers us clear-cut villains and heroes. It only offers trade-offs, context, and complexity. And understanding that is what empowers us to make truly informed choices for our health. Because fear isn't a strategy. Understanding is.